Starfield honestly has the potential to have quite simply the best Bethesda Game Studios game main quest ever. The potential to simply just have the best quests of a BGS game ever. If you know me, you know I've never really been a huge fan of Bethesda main quests. I think they're solid enough, but none of them have really captured me, you know? I thought Fallout 3's was decent, I thought Morrowind and Oblivion's were pretty good, I enjoyed Skyrim's, but I'll still argue that Skyrim's main questline should have been the Civil War story, just more fleshed out, and I did really like Fallout 4's until the Brotherhood of Steel came in. So yeah, Bethesda main quests have never really been a massive selling point for me personally. They're not bad per se, they just aren't, you know, super amazing. Instead, I think Bethesda really shines in their side content, their side quests, personal quests, quests that you randomly stumble upon and so on. But Starfield, as I said, has the potential to be the best main quest of any Bethesda Game Studios game yet. And a big part of that is quite simply Will Shen. See, Will Shen joined Bethesda Game Studios when they were just about making Fallout 3. He was an intern at that point and worked as an additional quest designer, writing dialogue for characters in Big Town and the Republic of Dave. Now, Will Shen's first major role as a quest designer and writer was for Fallout 4. He did the opening sequences, which were amazing, and he also fleshed out the character of Nick Valentine. For those of you who don't play Fallout, Fallout fans pretty much all agree that Nick Valentine is one of, if not the best character in the franchise. But Will Shen became the lead quest designer for Fallout 4's Far Harbor DLC, which was extremely well received, and I think, in my opinion, it is the best thing that Bethesda have done since Skyrim's release. Quite simply, Far Harbor is my favourite part of Fallout 4, and I honestly think it's the best Fallout DLC in existence. Now, Will Shen also worked on many Skyrim quests, but the big standout here is definitely his work on Far Harbor, the Fallout 4 DLC. Point being is Will Shen has made some pretty amazing questlines and stories for Bethesda during his time there, and now he's the lead quest designer for Starfield, meaning he does most of the quests and has pretty much the lead authority on the main questline. Every time Bethesda mentioned the main quest, it's usually Will Shen talking about it. We even got this entire 5-minute video of Will Shen talking about Starfield's main quest and side content. Now look, of course, if we are being honest here, let's face it, Fallout 4 was not universally loved by any means necessary. I think most people weren't a fan of the main story. I honestly think it gets more shit than it deserves, but of course it wasn't great. And especially after Fallout 76, people are just sort of curious if Starfield will also be a bit of a bummer when it comes to its main questline. And I think people are understandably a little bit on edge. Now don't get me wrong, everything we've seen for Starfield's questing so far looks really great in my opinion. Although I dislike the map being different for everyone, or at least the building placements being different for everyone, but for the most part, quests themselves look really amazing in Starfield, and I think that we are honestly in very, very good hands with Will Shen leading this part of the game. In fact, recently there's even been some discussion about Will Shen taking over for Todd Howard. Todd Howard has been speaking about his retirement, saying that Elder Scrolls 6 could possibly be his last Elder Scrolls game due to the game's just taking so long, and due to him mentioning that, people have been speculating about who's going to take over for Todd Howard as Bethesda Game Studios lead director, and my vote honestly does go to Will Shen. Now obviously I don't want Todd to retire, I'm just such a huge fan of Will's work and the quests that he's given us in the past. Like, say what you want about Fallout 4, but there's no denying that that opening scene was intense and really well put together, and the same thing goes for Nick Valentine. Honestly, I love Nick so much, I really hope he's in Fallout 5, and he's a synth, so he could still be alive during that time. When we take a look at the actual facts of the Starfield main questline, we know that quite simply we're collecting artifacts for or with Constellation, Starfield's main faction. I have a video breaking down the entire main quest if you want to check it out. I won't go too deep into it here, but Bethesda have been very quiet about it, and they're clearly just trying really hard not to spoil even the slightest drop of information. And while yes, Bethesda have always been secretive, I don't think I've ever seen them be so secretive about a game's main questline, which just makes me all the more excited for Starfields. And we haven't even begun to discuss the side content, which is always what holds Bethesda games together for so many years. You can put hundreds and hundreds of hours into a Bethesda game and still manage to find side content that you've never even heard about. And it's things like that, as well as mods obviously, that keep Bethesda games going for so many years on end. I mean, people are still playing Skyrim like over a decade since its release. you can create characters to do just one side quest, and it's really fun. And again, with Will Shen behind most quest lines, I think Starfield is gonna probably have the best quests of any Bethesda game. But that is pretty much everything I have to say today, guys. I do apologise for the very short video, but I am still kind of under the weather and I need to rest. But anyway, we are mere weeks away from Starfield's release, and I'm so excited. So let me know in the comments what your biggest hopes are for Starfield's main story. And of course, if you did enjoy the video, I kindly ask that you leave it a like. And if you want to stay up to date on Starfield news, leaks, discussions, and plenty of other Bethesda coverage, this is absolutely the place for it. So consider subscribing, I've got you covered. And as always, a big massive thank you to the channel members. Your support means the absolute world. But with all of that said and done, I thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope to see you next time. Peace.